Hey guys, Evan Tan here. In this video, I'm going to go through basic interest targeting. Okay, this is perfect for those who are just starting out, for those who have just a brand new pixel or a not that matured pixel. All right, so for those just starting out, this will be the perfect strategy you can use to start out by targeting, really small and passionate groups of people. Okay, so let's go through what do I target and the basic settings of a basic interest targeting over here. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so as usual, okay, the conversion will be set as purchase. Okay, the location will always go for the first tier countries. All right, so the first tier countries will be USA, okay, UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. All right, so if you're specifically you want to just do the US market at the start, then you can just target USA. Okay, if you want to do UK, then maybe you can split it out into a different campaign, to do a split testing in that matter, in that location. Okay, so the age, okay, we always go for 20 to 65 plus. All right, this is a sweet spot for us, or you can do 20 to 60 as well. All right, so as I mentioned in some other videos, there's a very big disparity. I mean, there isn't really much a disparity between 20 to 65 plus and 20 to 60. All right, whichever works better for you, so feel free to go and test both out. Okay, so gender, you'll always go start out with male and female. All right, I want to emphasize in this video that never think that, oh, this specific product is catered for women, so I only want to target to females. All right, do not have this mentality. All right, that's what you think. All right, so you never know that maybe a male that sees this wants to buy it for his wife, or maybe or some other way. All right, so never assume things that you think this is gonna happen, so you just leave that out. All right, so it has happened to us before that we felt that this kitchen product only the men will like it, so we left the woman out. And in fact, like we left when we restarted the ad to target both male and female, we realized that 80% come from the gender that we didn't target. Right, so this is really important. Do not assume anything. Okay, so back to the topic. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the basic interest targeting. Okay, so not to confuse you, right? So the detailed targeting, as mentioned in the tutorial, right? We want to target 200K to 2 million in each ad set. All right, remember when you're creating an ad, right, you're creating one ad set. All right, so you only want to target around 200,000 to 2 million people in each ad set. All right, so what's the main reason of this? All right, the main reason being is that when you target like the really large groups of people and your pixel is very brand new or is not experienced enough, it won't be able to find good buyers or potential buyers for you. All right, because it's still in the learning phase, it's able to better find in a small group rather than a big group, right? So it's like finding a needle in a small haystack versus a giant haystack. All right, so basically when your pixel is smarter, then you can slowly move into like the more advanced strategies that we're going to touch base on in the advanced modules. Okay, so number of ads in each campaign to start out with will be 5 to 10 in each campaign, and you want to split it by country. All right, as I've mentioned just now, what do I mean by splitting by countries? Will be one campaign, 5 ad sets to the United States and maybe 5 ad sets to the United Kingdom, right? You do not want to combine them together, so if there's sales going to one US, one UK, you do not really know unless you use the advanced reporting, and it's very contradicting. So it's better to focus on one country in one ad set, which is very much more efficient. Okay, so under the expand interest, all right, it will be no. And the starting budget, all right, for beginners, because we don't want you to burn too much money, we want to let your pixel slowly mature itself. All right, so we do not want to spend too much money right off the get-go. Okay, so the placements will be the mobile and desktop feeds. Right, this will be covered in the separate Facebook section. If you haven't seen that, you may want to go back and review it. Okay, conversion window, we always start with 1-day click. All right, so and bid strategy, we always go for the auto or the lowest cost bid. All right, and lastly, all right, what kind of ads type do you want to use? All right, we always recommend video or photo link ads. All right, those two are the most converting for us. All right, so right now let's go through, and go back to the ads manager and show you a quick example of how to find, really targeted and passionate small interest group. All right, so let's go ahead. All right, so right now we're in Facebook. Okay, so over here, all right, let's say you want to sell a dog product, right? So you do not know which specific interest group is around 200K to 2 million, for example, right? So let's say you want to, the fastest way to do it is actually type in your niche. So just go ahead and type dogs, all right? So dogs, all right? So you can see the most obvious one is dogs, all right? So, but this, as mentioned, this is like the giant haystack, all right? So just in the United States, 63 million people, right? You do not want that, right? For beginners, for a new pixel, it'll be really hard to find a buyer in such a big interest group. All right, so instead of that, just make sure you type in dogs and add in here. All right, so why do we add in here? Is because once you add in the first interest in there, Facebook is able to give you a lot of suggestions by clicking here. Okay, so right away you see Facebook give you a lot of really good examples, right? I mean, if you search it for yourself, maybe you wouldn't have found it, right? So remember that the size over here is worldwide, right? So let's say we're just targeting US, okay? So let's go ahead and put in dog lover, okay? And then after you have put in dog lover, go ahead and remove dogs and see, oh, see, right away you get 190,000 people, that is dog lovers, this interest, and in the United States. So generally we want this ad set to contain around 200,000 plus people. All right, so maybe 190,000 people is fine, but you just plus minus maybe 10,000, and so 190,000 is good to go for this specific ad set. All right, so as I've mentioned just now, you want around 5 to 10 of ad sets, ranging from 200K to the 2 million group. So right away, by spending $5 each ad set, let's say you have 5 ad sets, you're gonna be spending $25 a day on this specific campaign of 5 ad sets in this product that you're going to launch. Okay, so another you can go ahead, there are a lot of really interesting ad sets. So another one, we love dogs, so it's another around 150K, 190K. Okay, so there are a lot of interest out there. Trust me, there are a lot of really small and good interest group and passionate people that own this interest. All right, once they have these people are really passionate about the things they love. All right, so by targeting these smaller groups of people, because these are groups or interests created by people who really love it. Dogs as a whole, it's just like, when you're on Facebook, you like dogs. Okay, so these are interest groups that are really passionate, so they are higher converting as compared to the larger group of people. All right, so I hope you have a clear understanding on how this interest targeting works. All right, so for us as a start, this is always the strategy that you use to target passionate buyers out there. All right, so if to recap, right, we target 200K to 2 million people in each ad set, right? 5 to 10 each campaign, split by country. All right, do not expand interest. All right, do not expand the interest, and you start off with a starting budget. All right, so go ahead and start with your starting out. Go ahead and start finding the really passionate group for your specific product or niche to start targeting those people. And I hope you will be able to find your first sale really quickly using this strategy or the next strategy that I'm going to show you, called the basic broad targeting. All right, I'll see you in the next video.